We're gonna go into a full-blown speed workout with Kutztown University football team captain Cam Wolf, and we're gonna start right now. So when we're prepping for a speed workout, we have to make sure that there's gas in the tank, and that means doing a proper warm-up. And so Cam is gonna start with PVC pipe walk. So the first thing he's gonna do, we'll go forward like 5 to 10 yards. Ideally, he can come backwards another 5 to 10 yards, and we'll do that for 2 passes. We wanna focus on squeezing that PVC pipe, and he should even feel that a little bit in his quads, a little bit in his glutes, even a little bit in his lower back. And this will help prep his feet for when we're trying to plantar flex, when we're actually dorsiflexing, and working through those different phases of sprints. Even go backwards a little.
Fuck, I can't go backwards.
Oh, little forward lean to get that backwards going. And this is actually one thing, you know, Cam plays football, right? One thing that you can think about is that if you're a defenseman, you've got to be able to move backwards and move backwards comfortably. So Cam, because you play defense, he's got to work on his backwards movement on that PVC pipe. So think about that when you're doing speed-based training. See if you give me like 2 more backwards and then forward as quickly as you can, and then we'll get to the next exercise. There you go, there you go. Good, now come forwards. And I even like to think about moving quickly. You can almost have races once you get through a couple different passes. This is an absolutely phenomenal warm-up to really get everything moving. And when your body recognizes that it's on an unstable surface, it starts to heighten its neural drive, okay? So it starts to be a little bit more aware. So now we're gonna take that, Cam, and we'll come over here. We'll go with banded bear extension. So we're gonna get into like a quadruple position. We're gonna have a band around each foot. We got our Powerlastic mobility band here, and everything that we're using is all our own products. Lower that butt just a hair. There you go. Now press forward and try and pause. And see if you can squeeze your hand up a little higher. There you go. Okay, good. Back in. Give me 4 of those where you pause for about 1, 2, 3. Good. Back in. Give me 2 more. Good. 1 more. And what I want to see too is like right here, Cam. Okay, you can switch. Go to that left hand. Is ideally what he's going to be feeling. He'll feel that up in his upper back here, feel that in his gut. We can get this just a hair higher if you can. Good, so we should feel that there, and try not to tilt as much with the trunk. So we're trying to focus on that dynamic trunk control through an isometric pattern right now. So we want to see that nice lockout squeeze up here, and ideally he's holding this pretty good here, nice and stable. That's going to start to light up his trunk. That's going to start to light up his abs. While he's holding this flexion point here, remember that steep shin angle. You can do 1 more. Steep shin angle is gonna help a ton with acceleration. That's good. Before we go into the rest of this workout, you guys can win a free Swole shirt. All you have to do is 1, comment down below. 2, make sure that all your channel notifications are on. 3, show up to our public live Tuesday to claim your free shirt. Now, let's try to get as fast as possible. Now we're gonna get into the split squat thoracic rotation. So we wanna get into a pattern here, and we might have to use this mobility band. And we wanna hold, and I wanna hold this hand straight forward, and ideally I'm gonna rotate and get all the way back to 180 and then come back here. And we're gonna feel that a little bit in our glutes, a little bit in our quads, a little bit in our hamstrings, but then most importantly in that thoracic rotation. So if we can think about speed, agility, if we're playing a field sport, if we're playing a court sport, we have to be as agile as possible. We have to have a stable trunk. I always refer to Barry Sanders, think about Saquon Barkley, somebody like that, being able to juke very rapidly. So yeah, hold that left towards the camera and then rotate the right side to me. Good, good, good. And then come back. Give me 5 on each side and try and hold that left a little bit more in line with the camera. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Drop that left knee a hair. Yeah. Perfect. Open that up a hair more. And even there you see Cam just sort of like got a little bit off balance. That's perfectly fine. He's warming up. He's getting everything going. And it's just being a little bit more aware of what's going on. And you should feel this in your mid back too. 1 more. Give me 1 more. And then we'll switch to the other side. Good, switch to the other side. And so when we're coaching someone like Cam, right, we just want to be aware of what's going on while they're warming up. Do they feel crappy? Are you sore at all, Cam?
A little bit.
What'd you do recently? Oh, you benched heavy yesterday, didn't you?
Benched heavy yesterday and heavy cleans before.
Yeah, what did you clean?
345.
Ooh, big dog, 345. Good. Give me 2 more and try and rotate that left side a little bit more. There, that's better there. And also, you know, as a defenseman, we've got to think about, you got to keep your head on a swivel. But if we don't have that mobility, you can't keep your head on a swivel, so you're going to get owned. And I think moving backwards, right, in the warm-up, being capable of rotating is going to pay massive dividends. But also, if this is just a speed workout that you want to try for, let's say, track or basketball, anything along these lines, it's going to transfer absolutely phenomenally. So now we're going to get into the next key aspect during the speed workout. All right, so the gas tank is filled. Now we're gonna try and focus on that mind and getting the cognition to roll a little bit. And that's where a lot of you guys are probably gonna complain. This exercise for speed, come on. But Cam's gonna demonstrate here. We want to hit a very, very aggressive power clean. Okay, go, good. One more. A little bit snappier, Cam, a little bit faster. Good, good, good. Okay, rest. So what I like to do is look at rate coding. If we are moving things extraordinarily fast and we're forcing our body to rapidly coordinate in specific positions, we're looking at a nice tight position off the floor. We want to have a decent shin angle when he's pulling, and we're going to use about 60 to 65% of his max. You heard him say, hey, what did you clean?
345.
So that 60 to 65% is going to put us right around 100 kilos on these sweet ZKC plates, available at the link down below in the description. So what we're trying to do here is just light up his nervous system even more. We want to think about bending that bar in half, being as aggressive as possible, and this is going to set up the rest of this speed workout. Give me one more double here. I'm going to give you a command though, Cam. I want to do something unique, especially for a closed skilled athlete, someone like a sprinter. Okay, you can use this quite a bit where we would go, ready, go, good. Now I'm going to be the guy who holds everybody in the blocks for too long. Ooh, nice. Hit 4 to 5 doubles. Again, 60 to 65% of your max. Rip that freaking bar in half, and this is gonna help you feel really wired up. That rate coding is gonna skyrocket, and it's gonna prepare you for the rest of this beast workout. So every athlete has to focus on acceleration and drive. The drive phase coming out of the blocks. If we're a sprinter, if we're even a wrestler or a football player, the first step or 2 or 3 steps. So we want to change the shin angle. We want to change the degree that we're going forward. And this next exercise is absolutely perfect for this. So we're going to do a knee jump to a single leg land and then react quickly over 3 mini hurdles. And this is gonna help us with that reaction time. This is gonna help us be more explosive. So Cam is gonna demonstrate this perfectly, hopefully, and we're gonna be able to see when he lands, he's gonna land on one leg and continuously go through, and then he's gonna go back to the other side. Good, good, okay. Let's go with the other side. Give me a little bit more knee drive. I think you're a little shuffly with that knee. There you go, good. Unfortunately for you guys, plyometrics play a major role in developing speed and developing your rate of coordination. If you have greater rates of coordination, you're going to be a better athlete. You're gonna dominate your opponents. Go, Cam. And inside of our app Peak Strength, we use exercises exactly like this on athlete day and even at times inside of impulse day. When we're talking about training an athlete like Cam, who is a Division II football player, he can go inside of Peak Strength, select the skilled position that he's going to train for. He's not going to train like an offensive lineman. He's going to train like a linebacker, like a safety, someone who's going to bring the absolute wood. Now, Cam, give me like 30, 40 seconds rest. And the big factor here is that when we're doing something like a plyometric and you're being instructed inside of Peak Strength, there's actually a rest timer. There's even Division I football players inside of the app demonstrating those specific exercises so that you have a better understanding of what you need to do to become a freak. Give me another one on each side. Good, 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 good. One more. And he can even think about this too. When he's landing on that one leg, it's like hitting that cut. He's making a read and he's got to cut rapidly or he's got to propel himself forward. Good, good. So head over to peakstrength.app, the Google Play Store, the Apple iOS Store, and you can download Peak Strength today for 7 free days of training. During those 7 free days, you can cancel at any time. The worst thing that's going to happen though, is you're going to get 5 free workouts. Now, let's get to those next sweet exercises. So technical coordination exercises are great. Plyometric exercises are absolutely phenomenal, but we also need to make sure we're hitting some specific running drills, especially with open skilled athletes, but also with closed skilled sprinters. We've got to focus on the drive phase, the acceleration period of sprinting. So in this next drill, we're going to hit the first 5 to 7 strides, and we're going to do this with intention. And so I'm going to scream at Cam so that he's extremely dialed in with the technique and thought process that goes into accelerating as quickly as possible. So we're going to establish his 40 start. And if you guys don't know how to establish that, you should check out our peak strength video with Legend where we go over this. Coaches, athletes out there, all of you guys could do this very, very easily. We're gonna get into a kneeling position. Cam's gonna accelerate out of that, and I wanna count 6 to 7 strides. If you have a smartphone, you can video this from the side and you can start to put down markers. It's really, really easy. It's actually really fun. Then we've gotta have cues for how we can move that marker on that 6th stride or that 7th stride. I'm gonna try and do this with just my eyeballs without my smartphone. So Cam's gonna do his first one, and typically what I would recommend is you do like 6 to 8 sets of just one pass through. And then that rest period might be 30 seconds to 2 minutes, depending upon where you're at in your training. So Cam's gonna do the first one right here. And typically we wanna see this knee here in line with the back of his heel. So we wanna get a forward projection. Now, I'm not gonna say any cue yet. I'm not gonna say do X to get this result, but that's really what we wanna be thinking about. And I'm gonna focus on his footwork. I'm gonna try to get his 5th stride, and we're gonna mark that with a cone, and then we're gonna do 2 more reps and try and increase the distance of that 5th stride. So on you, Cam. Okay, I think I have that right here. That's 5. Right in line with our sweet water fountain and hose. See, this is the benefit of actually having a gym where you actually train athletes, is that you just have random things laying all over the place like a water hose. Okay, so again, we want to rest about 30 to 60 seconds. We might do 2 more because I want to make sure I have that 5th stride in place. Now, the big factors, cues. We want to see Cam's chest project forward with his shin angle. So we want to see them equally moving forward. So that shin angle is going to be steep and the chest should be coming out in that position. We want to see he's going to drive a little bit behind the hip, but we want to see that hold, and then after about 4 or 5 strides, he's going to start to come up. But the main focus is going to be projecting himself forward and pushing the earth away. Okay, so think about that for this next set here. Okay, that was almost exactly where that cone is. So we want to see a little bit longer strides, a little bit longer driving. There's going to be a longer grounding period during the acceleration phase. And what that helps us do is apply more force. So that's where Cam's big clean is going to come into play. The fact that he already hit that cone shows like really good consistency and good structural stability. And we did do a couple warm-ups before we got into this, but I want to see if we can get that, move that cone a little bit. So let's try and think about projecting the chest forward, steep shin angle, but then also driving that knee a little bit more forward during the first 2 to 4 strides. There you go, there you go. That was like right on this point here. That was better, and you had a better forward drive. Okay, so we got about another, and think about this, we got about another 6 to 8 inches here out of that set. So it's one of those games where literally football is a game of inches. Literally sprinting is a game of inches. If we can get an extra 6 to 8 inches out of that first 5 strides, that's gonna project me even further, and it's gonna be exponential as you get down the track if you're a sprinter. It's gonna be even more if you're a football player. If 6 to 8 inches could be me making it through a hole or not, depending upon if I play defense or offense. So Cam's gonna give us one more because I love this drill. It's just simple. It's things that you guys can do at home very easily. And it's a good challenge. It's a competitive challenge that you can really focus on. And then for athletes as well, you start to learn what cues help you project further forward. Okay, that was just a hair short with that left leg, but still, it's a good competitive practice. It's an absolutely fantastic way to focus on acceleration. That was a pretty good job there, Cam. And then what you can start to play around with is if you look at shin angles, you look at the trunk, you look at even to a point what you're doing with your knees. Those are all different cues or areas that you can start to think through to help lengthen that stride point at number 5, 6, or 7. Figure out you're gonna mark the 5th stride, the 6th stride, or the 7th stride, and try to lengthen that over 5 to 6 to 7 sets. So the fun begins with a balloon and a kettlebell. Now, I'm a little concerned about this drill only because we're outside. We usually do it in the back room where there's gonna be a little bit less wind, but I'm gonna demonstrate here what we're doing. First is going to be a side jump, okay? So we're gonna jump and punch. My back hurts from running and that really hurt. Punch here, punch here. So Cam's gonna demonstrate way better than me. And what I wanna see is a big side jump and punch, and then you gotta hold, okay? Big side jump, punch, and hold. And so we're gonna do that for 3 to each side. Then we're gonna rest for about 30 to 40 seconds, and we're gonna play the balloon game. But what we're gonna be doing then is we're gonna hit the balloon up. Cam's gonna sprint 5 yards, cut back, and try and keep that up, and he's gonna try and do that for 2 to 3 passes. So the big game is based around potentiation here, resting about 30 to 40 seconds, and then focusing on the agility with the balloon. It makes it a little bit more entertaining, it makes it a little bit more competitive. And they're very, very simple things that anyone who's in an open skilled sport is gonna benefit tremendously. The balloon game is something that Max Schmarzo uses quite a bit, even with his basketball players. It's something, if you check him out on Instagram, he does a great job of demonstrating this. So Cam's gonna demonstrate here. Let's go 3 jumps to each side and try and punch and really stick that landing on with that glute. Okay, good. Now, I would say their next set, I wanna see a bigger punch out and him still be able to stick that. So that's one big coaching cue that we can see. Now, I'm a little concerned about the actual wind, especially because now I feel like it just picked up a little bit. But what I wanna see here is the balloon will go up. Cam's gonna sprint and then come back as quickly as possible. There's still a little bit of a breeze, so we might have to wait a little bit. And then he's gonna hit that back up. And the whole point is to keep the balloon off the ground, but it gives us that competitive edge. It gives us that little spark that we have to work towards. If you like doing this drill, you can even use tennis balls, you can use lacrosse balls, you can play around with different balls of your choice, and it's gonna help you improve that agility. I'll try and just keep it over towards Cam's direction. Oh, that was cheating. There's too much lift. So that's the whole point of the game. What we would want to see though is that that balloon would start to come down and there wouldn't be as much lift. You should check out Mark Rober's recent video on how things actually lift around a balloon or even around baseballs and wiffle balls, and you can understand why that's actually staying elevated. All right, so the next big aspect that we're gonna go over is sled-based training, okay? And so we have to identify if we're doing heavy resisted sled work, that's gonna be where we might see a velocity decrement of like 70 to 90%, where you're barely freaking moving over a 10 to 15 yard time frame. What we wanna focus on in speed-based work is like a 5 to 10% decrement, maybe a hair higher, but depending upon what we're looking at as far as strength work, someone like Cam has a big clean, he's got a decent squat, and then we can compare that with what that velocity decrement's gonna look like. We can actually start to see an improvement in his overall speed when he's not weighted. So he's gonna go through 15 yards here, and we're gonna have about a 25-pound plate on it. And we wanna make sure that he knows what is his speed through 15 yards without weight, and then we can time that with weight, and then that's gonna show us that decrement. But we're gonna do this for about 8 to 10 sets. Don't try to put 45 a pound, 45 a pound, 45 on the sled. That's going to be a different strength characteristic. It can apply to speed to a point, but it likely won't be the best solution for you. The best solution is typically going to be using like 15 to 30, 35 pounds, depending upon your strength level. So Cam's gonna give us 2 reps here, focusing on stride length. Okay, that was good. That was about 11 strides through 15 there. That was pretty good. Okay, so he's gonna rest about 20 to 30 seconds. And usually I would say, try and give yourself like 60 to 90 seconds in between reps, but focus on forward lean, focus on driving, focus on putting force into the ground. The ground is gonna give you that force back, and that's gonna help you project forward. Yep, and that was about 10 strides through. So you've got to just pay attention, 1, to your strides, 2, try to set up another smartphone, okay? You have that smartphone, you can go through, you can time yourself, you know how long it's gonna take you to get through 15, 20 yards without a sled. Then you put on 15, 20, 25 pounds and you see what that decrease or how slow you become. So instead of running in, let's just say 3 seconds, you run in 3.3 seconds. That's a 10% decrement, okay? Focus on not adding a ton of weight to the sled. We wanna focus on good power output, good strides, good acceleration. And now we're gonna close this out with some sweet mobility exercises to help you recover from this sweet speed workout. Okay, so Cam's gonna finish up that mobility. He's gonna hit some easy hip 90-90 work, and then he's gonna get into some of the couch stretch. Again, this is inside of our app, Peak Strength. You can head over to peakstrength.app, the Google Play Store, the Apple iOS Store, and you can download that today. But make sure that you do that proper warm-up. You do some technical coordination movements. You focus on the intent of each specific exercise that you're doing to try to optimize your overall speed performance and optimize that agility if you're inside of an open skilled sport. Because remember, freaks, if you want to become a champion, you've always got to cultivate your power. Peace.